Yes. So I have Kay Clark to the left of me and Jordan McLaughlin to the right of me. I'm extremely proud of these two women with the way they play and the way that they display their heart and their passion for the game. Obviously, tonight's loss is a tough one to take because it wasn't more about what Marshall did to us, it's what we did to ourselves. You know, the third quarter really punched us in the gut. I believe we had more turnovers than we did points. Everything shifted. The only answer that they could have presented to change the course of the game was to do what they were doing, but with more energy and more intensity. And it's almost like we got on our heels a little bit, sped us up some, and we turned the ball over way more than we're accustomed to doing, especially since we've learned from this circumstance two times already playing them. And it really shot us in the foot today. It limited us from having great shot attempts. They're not a strong defensive team. And we did a great job of exposing the people that we needed to expose within play. But when you turn the ball over 26 times, that's 26 potential attempts. We are used to having more field goal attempts than our opponents, but they had more than us tonight. So kudos to them for making big plays in the big moments. She changed her game plan in the second half. They didn't really settle for threes. They just put their head down, and they were hard, straight line drivers, and they checked our lateral quickness, got us into some foul trouble. They were able to stop the clock and shoot free throws. They had the momentum, and it changed the whole course of the game.
Pierce Sharver for ODU Athletics. Coach, each time you've played the Herd this season, it seems like it's come down to one quarter that's made or break the outcome of the game. You controlled the first half. You set the tone with your defensive pressure and making second chance points and scoring in the paint. What happened in the second half versus the first half?
The second half, you could easily say, oh, was fatigue a factor? Fatigue was probably a factor for everyone because I watched their players and they were huffing and puffing and breathing hard too. Everyone's leaving everything out on the court. But who can have a cool mind? Cool minds always prevail. Who can be poised? Who can posture themselves in adversity or with the ebbs and flows of the game? We cannot allow Marshall, with the arsenal that they have from the inside and the way that they penetrate the paint, attack the paint, we cannot allow them to have extra possessions because it's taxing. I thought we did a tremendous job of getting back in transition defense in the first half. I thought we did a tremendous job for the most part of guarding the three-point line. I also thought we did a tremendous job of taking care of the basketball. We had less than 8 turnovers in the entire first half. My goal was for us to have 12 for the entire game. But what happened, and we have the results to stick with it.
Jordan, Kay, you both led this team throughout the season. You both showed up in the big moments, and that was especially true today. Jordan, 15 points, Kay, 16 points and 12 rebounds. Can you just talk about your role with this team this season? And also, the season might not be done. What do you guys want to accomplish if you do get a bid for a postseason tournament?
My role this season was to be a leader, and that I did. I let the team put them on my back, and Jordan helped me along the way as well as being a PG. For after the season, we want to win. If we play in WNIT, we get a dub, and we make it all the way. That's the goal. I mean, we still can fight. It's their season to still win. We're going to do that. Unfortunately, it was not tonight, and we put up a fight tonight, and unfortunately, Marshall came out with the win. But we're still here to show rep ODU throughout the rest of the season.
And I agree with that 100%. Kay really held me down the whole season. I'm not going to lie, she's my rock, y'all. And my goal this team, my role for this team was just to control tempo, keep level minds. And they always said it was going to go how I go. So if there's any basketball left to play, I mean, that's what we want to do, and that's what we love to do. So we're going to take it as we go and go out with a bang.
And I would like to add this comment. The Sun Belt Conference is a wonderful conference. Very tough competition. It should not be a one big conference at all. When you have the teams that we have that can beat Power Fives, and we've shown that with how we build our non-conference schedule, I really think it is disheartening to know that only one team should come from this conference. I really do. I think the NCAA should take a hard look at how they select things. How do you have 22 wins and you play in this conference and the play is so tremendously competitive and tough night in and night out, but you'll have a Power Five with 16 wins barely hanging on. And if they didn't buy games in the non-conference, they would have a horrible schedule. But they get the bids. Something needs to be restructured because there's some great basketball being played on this level through and through.
Go ahead, Luke.
Luke Creasy, HD Media in Huntington. One for the players. Even after they took that 15-point lead there in the fourth quarter, you guys fought back, made some big shots down the stretch, and started to buckle down a little more defensively like you did in the first half. What did that take mentally to know, hey, we're down, but we're not out of it just yet?
To fight. We're a defensive team, and they're going to go on runs, we're going to go on runs. So at the end of the day, we just got to play till the clock says 0-0. And we did that. We fought, we communicated, we came together as a team, and we dropped the lead a little bit. That's what we do.
Yeah, and we take on the identity of our coach, and she's not one to just lay down and give somebody a game. You know, she tells us to have a heart, you know, have pride in what we do, and we like to respect the game. So when we go out there, we give it our all, no matter what's on the scoreboard.
One more for Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Just how challenging is it to face a team like Marshall that substitutes out so much and are throwing so many different matchups out there?
It can be tough if you allow it to be tough. I kept telling my players, the game doesn't have to be hard if you don't want it to be. And that's really about your mindset and what you're choosing to focus on. If you're being distracted by the fact that they have five new players coming in, then you're focusing on the wrong things. What you got to focus on is, okay, I'm out here, my coach trusts me, regardless of how I'm feeling, push through. Push through and get the job done, because the scout doesn't change when 5 new players come in. It's just the amount of poise and the effort. You have to be efficient in your efforts so that you can keep the same results.
Go ahead, Paul.
Coach Paul Chestnut, Fox Sports Baseball Radio. I'm going to follow up on what you said, the Sun Belt Conference, 2 bids. I agree with you. It's a great conference, and then it's a different conference now than when it was 3-4 years ago.
Yes.
A lot of teams, a lot of very talented teams.
Yes.
How do you see that changing with the landscape of college sports, not only in basketball, but some other sports too, that, you know, hey, the Sun Belt, we're out here, and teams come postseason
Yes.
need to be added. How do you see something like that change?
I think that heavy conversations need to be had, maybe amongst the ADs with Commissioner Gill. I think the coaches should definitely have a say in that. Someone needs to be the spokesperson, advocating hard for the Sun Belt Conference and looking at the statistics of everything. Let's break the analytics down and let's see how we really compare with all the other competitions from other Power 5 or Power 6s that are out there. These women work hard. They sacrifice just as much, and they're just as deserving of a postseason bid like anyone else. Why does there have to be 6 to 8 that come from another conference when probably two teams from those conferences don't deserve it? But you can give that to us. You can give that to another conference that's in the same predicament as us, and now you have parity. Now March Madness really can be March Madness, because the same teams that we face in the preseason, we can even beat in the postseason. And now you have the Cinderella effect, you have upsets. It's great for basketball. There's an entire movement taking place within women in sports in general. And now with the wave that we all are riding with women's basketball alone, why wouldn't you want more diversity amongst all the conferences so that all these individuals can get the looks that they deserve? I have players that want to be pros. They want to be pros whether it's in the WNBA or internationally. Being on that stage, I've been in the WNBA for 17 years. I understand how that machine works. They're going to come to the Final Four to scout. And they just might stumble upon a player that, you know what? She's worthy of a training camp contract. They deserve that. The game deserves that. You have players that are in the WNBA that are mid-major, that were phenomenal on the mid-major level. Phenomenal. Allie Quigley, for one. phenomenal players that are stars in the WNBA. So there's talent everywhere. We have to do a better job of putting that talent out there, diversifying our portfolio when it comes to the NCAA tournament, and everyone getting an equal opportunity at this thing, not just because of a logo.
There's so much change, though, in the college sports. Do you see that happening?
I would love to see that happening. I think if I were in the boardrooms and I was a decision maker, I would really open up the conversation for that. Even with Marshall advancing and whoever wins out of James Madison and Lafayette, you still have great teams. Two should be able to go. Without a shadow of a doubt, two should be able to go. But the way that we built our program here at Old Dominion University, the great Old Dominion University, we built our program to where we will always have a fighting chance to be champions within the Sun Belt, but then we also are building our team so that we can have postseason play just in case we don't win. And we're deserving of that. So I'm expecting a call from the WNIT. I'm expecting that because we've been working for both, and we're deserving of it all.